Hi, my name's Alan Lourens and I'm head of the UWA Conservatorium of Music. Today I'll be talking about Bedřich Smetana's The Moldau, and I'll be making 3 videos. The first gives us a little background, the second one will talk about Smetana himself, and the third will talk about the work, The Moldau. The 19th century is a period of immense social and musical change. Starting in the late 18th century, we begin to see the establishment of different types of governments. In the 1770s, we have the colonies in the US breaking away from the British monarchy. Not long afterwards, we begin to see the beginning of liberal democracies in Europe with the French Revolution in 1789. In the 19th century, we see the consolidation of various small principalities into whole countries in Italy and Germany. And all through the 19th century, we see revolutions and counter-revolutions as the established monarchies vie for supremacy from the newfangled democratic or semi-democratic ideals, all of which made people seek identity. If you once identified as being from Florence, you now needed to identify as Italian, whereas you were once from Bohemia, you are now a Czech. Composers are people in their environment, so their own identities become caught up in these issues. In music, we're seeing huge changes as well. The model is moving away from rich patrons supporting musicians to the musicians surviving on ticket sales and commissions. They are working musicians rather than members of an elite royal court. We see as the century progresses larger and larger orchestras. The democratization of music includes increasingly large number of instruments, more people on stage playing more important roles, heading towards the huge orchestras we'll see in the music of Mahler in the early 20th century. We're also seeing music increasingly telling a concrete story. Haydn's London Symphony from 1795 is called that because he was in London when he wrote it. It is absolute music, an abstract concept in which the music is about the music, not explicitly about anything else. We see more and more works that are actually telling a story. Hector Berlioz's Symphonie Fantastique from 1830 tells the story of a drug-addled man falling in love, killing his love, and then being executed. We have works such as Pictures in an Exhibition by Mussorgsky from 1874, or Saint-Saëns' Carnival of the Animals from 1886, that tell a story. All of this combined in composers wanting to tell the story of their countries. We see the rise of folk song or folk-like songs in composition. This is a movement that started in the oft-invaded countries in Central Europe, the battleground of kings and queens for centuries. We see composers such as Dvorak and later Bartók and Strauss telling the stories of their homeland. And we see a Czech composer emerge with a work that has entered the mainstream repertoire of orchestras around the world. From this background, we see the rise of Bedřich Smetana in Prague, in what was then known as Bohemia, but what we now call the Czech Republic.